So there has been the video of a photorealistic bodycam FPS game called Unrecord lately on the internet, which is made in Unreal Engine 5, and it certainly looks amazing. I mean, just look at this. This really inspired me to make my own realistic bodycam FPS by using Unity in the less time possible. So before getting into the video, I'd like to thank Alexander Spindler and his team for really pushing the limits of game dev and create this awesome game. Anyway, let's get into it. I quickly made an HDRP Unity project so I can achieve fancy looking graphics. And then I decided to import FPS Engine because making a game like Unrecord obviously takes so much time to make, and it's definitely not an easy task to do. But I'll be using my asset, which has everything I need to start developing an FPS game. It's not aimed for bodycam style of games, but I'll make a few changes to it and modify it. The first thing I did was grabbing these models from the internet because damn, this looks awesome. And apparently it only brought a reload animation, so I had to demonstrate that I got pro animation skills, and well, not really, but at least I could make somewhat functional and cool animations. After that, I made a new weapon scriptable object that allows me to set my pistol exactly as I want it. I set it to be a hitscan weapon with limited magazines and customized some other parameters to adjust it as much as possible. Then I put everything together in a new weapon and voila! It looks quite cool so far, but there is something very distinctive that Unrecord has, so this game should have too. And it's the bodycam effect. For that, I realized that they used a fisheye effect alongside with the strong black vignette overlay and a very well done color correction and grading. I also noticed that apart from that, there's a subtle noise effect that gives realism to the game, as if indeed everything was actually being recorded. I also added this blur effect whenever the player shoots, and there we go. After these changes, the game already started to feel way better, so I started to work on the gun movement. In most of the current FPS titles, the weapon is usually visible on screen pretty much all of the time, while Unrecord goes for a more realistic approach and lets the weapon behave with more freedom. At this point, I honestly didn't know how to approach this because it is actually quite weird and no one really explained how it works in terms of gameplay, so I decided that I'd only move the weapon along the x-axis with a very high sway effect and keep it in the lower pose if you look upwards. For that, I had to move the weapon outside of the main camera and write a custom script for it that also clamps the weapon in a lower pose unless you press the aim key or fire the weapon. To make it realistic, I added a ton of noise to it and extra animations for the aim to feel a bit shaky, and to be fair, it looks alright. I'm not sure if this is how they did it, but I think it's pretty good for our project. After working on all of this, we were missing enemies, so I made a dummy character that we can shoot just to test how it works. I would love to add more features like AI or even multiplayer, but that's only if this video is highly supported, and I could probably use this character in the future as a player character. So I got this nice model and I imported it into the game. Now I only had to set the enemy up by adding the script and setting both the enemy layer and tag to the character. Just like that, we already got an enemy, but I wanted to spice it up just a bit, so I also added a ragdoll that gets enabled whenever the character dies. And it went pretty nicely. And that is pretty much it for the enemies in this dialogue. The next step is probably the coolest one because we can get to know how far we can push HDRP and how cool can games look using Unity. First, I made a quick block out of the whole level and then I put all the models together. I modified way too many lighting settings and baked all the lights, which is definitely very fun to watch. Dude, the fans of my PC are literally about to explode. And this is the final result so far. I did not have time to make the entire warehouse, just the entrance, because remember that this is not even a side project, it is just something that I wanted to experiment with because Unrecord inspired me. So it was an excuse for me to chill a bit from my main projects and make something new and interesting with FPS Engine that I have never tried before. So don't expect this to be an actual game or even a commercial project, also because I used a ton of stock models and there's some more work to do. Moreover, FPS Engine was used to make this, so if you're interested in that, there's a link in the description so you can check it out. Anyway, I hope you liked the video, and as always, see you next time.